Hi, it's Mo. It is the day after my birthday, and I don't know why. Is it a thing with booktubers? But every year around my birthday, I want to make a video that will come out on my birthday, that I film on my birthday, that comes out around my birthday. And this year, I decided that I'm going to do the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy tag. This was created by Gareth at Books, Songs, and Other Magic, and this was made quite a while ago. This is the perfect tag for me, which I will talk about in a second, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to do this tag, and then I've been trying to do it for like the last 6 months. So my birthday video, my around my birthday video seems like a perfect time to do this. We didn't do much for my birthday. My husband was sick my whole birthday weekend. All I really wanted to do was stay home, read some good books, quilt, and hang out with the cats. So I did get to do some of that. I thought it would be fun to do this tag kind of off the cuff. I did look at the questions a long time ago when it first came out, but I don't really remember them. So I printed them out, and I thought kind of having the backdrop of my bookcase would be fun because I could just walk over and pick out the books from my red shelf if they're red shelf book questions. I love The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is my all-time favorite book. It is my all-time favorite series of books. Douglas Adams is my all-time favorite writer. I would listen to his voice every day if I could, and I often do because I listen to some of his books to fall asleep. I find it disturbing that you can't get the audiobooks of the Hitchhiker's trilogy, which is 5 books, read by him anymore. Like, it's hard to get to them. So if anybody has a source, especially like a internet source that's like free, listen to this audiobook, I would love to know it. Sometimes you can find his books on the Internet Archive, but those have been a little bit decimated, and I find that they come and go a lot. Things disappear, and the last complete collected Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which had all 5 of the, actually it had all of his works, I think, but it had all 5 of the trilogy. It also had all of the original radio shows. That one had a weird speed, and because I've listened to them so many times, the speed being off made it like impossible. It made it so jarring and upsetting at a slower speed to listen to that I couldn't do it. I wonder if I would have felt that way if it was sped up. I don't know. Prop number 1 is demolishing your house. What book would you look for first to save from demolition? I think the real answer to this is like photo albums, which I kind of sort of know where they are. I think my journals, which are my bullet journals, which are over here, those are like the real answers. But the bookish answer is, of course, my Douglas Adams collection, which is on the top shelf. I would also love to save, because I've been working hard to get all the Agatha Christie vintage paperbacks, so I would love to save those. I would love to save my Mary Robert Reinhardt vintage paperbacks. I would love to save my Kurt Vonnegut vintage paperbacks. Those are the ones that are like the bookish answer. I talk about this a lot, but I love to save books. That's why I love vintage mass market paperbacks. I recently watched a little clip of an article and read a little clip of an article that talked about how they're not going to be printing mass market paperbacks anymore, which is so sad. I'm sure some publishers will, and then there are like some other kind of cutie little editions of things that don't make up for, don't balance out the loss of mass market paperbacks, but they are little books to keep your eye out for. The next prompt is Vogon Poetry. Quote a poet, a line of poetry, or a lyric that you love. I think that I've said this one before, but my all-time favorite poem is by William Carlos Williams, who was a New Jerseyan, and it is called This Is Just to Say, and it goes something like, off the top of my head, this is just to say that I have eaten the plums that you left in the icebox. I'm sorry, they were so cold and so delicious. Something like that. I will put the actual poem in the description box below. I also love song lyrics. I love Gordon Downey from the Tragically Hip. I love the entire Song of Chancellor, which I could quote to you, but I won't. I love Nautical Disaster. My favorite line from that is, and 500 more were thrashing madly like parasites in your blood. I love Soul Coughing. I love the song Soft Serve. Almost every line from that. One of the lines that I love is, ringing like the change in the legless man's paper cup. So those are just some quotes off the top of my head. I really like lyrics generally, and I've gotten much more into poetry, obviously, over the years. You've watched it happen if you watch this channel. Those are just a few. Question number 3, 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. What is the point? What is the meaning of life? So if people were to ask me that on the street, they would say, what's the meaning of life? I would say 42. And I have said that to people, and I have confused people with that answer. I look for 42 everywhere. I see 42 everywhere. I have my 42 sign that my dad made me on my 42nd birthday. Can you see it? Can you see it? I think the real, true, meaning of life is, I don't think there is a meaning to life in many respects. I think, I take a more existential view that we are here. The point is to live and to be here. But I think if it was a message that I was going to give, and not the message in So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, which does work and is sort of the answer to 42, or the question to 42, if you're familiar with the books, is, we're here to take care of each other. We're here to enjoy our time. The meaning of life is to get as much out of life as you can, to be happy, to be satisfied, to be fulfilled, to help other people be happy, be satisfied, and be fulfilled. I think helping other people, creating community, I think cats and the things that you love are things that you should be doing in your life. I think working is something you should be doing in your life. I think, that goes along with creating community. I don't think that working the way that we do or to the extent that we do is correct, but I think we have to try to live and try to solve the meaning of life by living as best we can in a capitalist society, in a consumerist society. We should do no harm to others, animal, vegetable, mineral, bug, person, and try to only better ourselves, enrich the world, enrich life. And I would say that is the meaning of life. Easier said than done, obviously, and sometimes not done at all by anyone, but I do think that that's true. Question number 4, it's radio beginning. What is your favorite memory in your experiences as a listener to the radio? I loved the radio when I was little. I absolutely loved the radio, especially when I was like a young teenager, like 12, 13, 14, 15. And I would come home every day and I would listen to the radio and I would write down every song that they played. There was one radio station in New Jersey, which is the radio station that had the music that I was listening to, my music when I discovered my music. My parents listened to music. They listened to the Beatles. They listened to Buffalo Springfield. They listened to various other things, opera, experimental music, different things. I knew about music. I have an older brother, so he liked Pantera. He liked Megadeth. He liked heavier stuff. He was in a band for a little while. He played the bass. So I knew music, but when I first came to my own music, it was the best time to do so. It was the early 90s. So I would go home, I would listen to the radio, I would write down every song in order to remember the songs, because this wasn't a time, this was almost before CDs. It wasn't a time where you could just run out and get music. I wanted to remember all the songs. I wanted to learn more about music. And so I think that was my favorite time listening to the radio. I also later made friends with people who worked at that radio station just by calling in when I was an older teenager, when I could drive a car, and I would go visit them at the radio station, and that was really fun too. I'm getting deja vu. I can't remember if I thought about these answers previously but never filmed it, or if I actually have filmed it before. It's not up on my channel, so I think I'm fine, but I hope I haven't double filmed this. Maybe it's just thinking about hitchhikers. Prompt number 5 is the towel. What book or books would you pack for a holiday? I'm so bad at packing books for holidays. As you well know, there's plenty of pack with me's. I'll leave them listed down below, where I pack 5 books for 5 days, or 10 books for 5 days, or 15 books for a week. And then I buy books when I go on vacation, when I travel as well. So no one ever needs to bring that many books. I would pack too many books. I would read too few books while I was away. For beach holidays, I really like a hardback. I like that you could open the hardback and then it just stays open. I like that when a hardback gets sand in it, it's a little bit easier to get the sand out. Sometimes, depending on the hardback. I like to bring books that are easily digestible, but I also like to bring big books. I like to bring thrillers. A favorite book series to bring on vacation with me is the Richard Osman Thursday Murder Club books. I just think that you can get immersed in them wherever you are. If you're in a busy airport, if you're in an unfamiliar hotel, if you're in a cafe, like, so those are really fun. I really love to bring hardcovers even though they don't make sense. So I would bring too many books with me on the holiday. Prompt number 6 is the infinite improbability drive. Name a fast read. I'm just going to hold this one up again because I just finished this one, and it is A Distant Father by Antonio Scarametta, and this was translated from the Spanish by John Cullen. So this was so fun, so fast-paced. It's under 100 pages. It's about a school teacher living in a remote village in Argentina and missing his father, who left the day that he came back from teaching college. It was great. I absolutely loved it. It was so fast. It was so fun to get through. I read it all in one sitting. It's told in very short chapters, and I highly, highly recommend. And it's a great way to get another short translated work onto your read shelf. I've talked about this before when I've talked about novellas. I love novellas in general, but I really love Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's just such a fast, fun read. Hard, devastating, terrible, sad, but like fun. So many others. I'll try to leave those novella videos listed down below as well. Don't Panic is prompt number 7. Name a book with great levels of tension or suspense. Okay, here's where I'm going to go to my bookshelf. What is that book called? Magda Szabo. That was a failed experiment. I can't find it. But The Door by Magda Szabo is the first book that comes to mind for this. That book was so mundane and so little happens, but it is so suspenseful. It is so tense. It is so frustrating and annoying and irksome, and I hated it. Like, I hated reading it, but I loved reading it, and I loved it, and it was so good. And I think if you're looking for like every level of like tension, and every mundane thing in life is this tense, overwrought moment, that is the book you should read for sure. Other kind of semi-tense books that I love, which I never talk about, but A Children's Bible by Lydia Millett. That has like a undercurrent of tension in it that I really enjoy. My favorite Emily St. John Mandel is The Glass Hotel. I feel like that also has like a weird, tense, suspenseful atmosphere to it. Obviously, you think suspense, you think mystery, you think thrillers. I really love Catherine Steadman. Every Catherine Steadman book I've read, I've enjoyed. They're really fluffy and fun, but there's a lot of like tense, suspenseful moments in those as well. Question number 8. TV and film adaptation. Pick a book to discuss one or more TV or film adaptations that you know of the book. Pick good and bad if it's relevant to the book. So let's talk about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, my favorite book. We haven't talked about it nearly as much in a tag devoted to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I love the BBC miniseries, obviously, because Douglas Adams directly worked on those. Douglas Adams wrote the original radio scripts. He wrote 1 through 6, which takes us to the restaurant at the end of the universe, and then kind of drops us off just after that. And that kind of encompasses the first 2 books, sort of. So he wrote the original radio scripts, then he wrote the first book, then he made the miniseries, then he wrote the second book. So those 4 items of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy are like interwoven. They are inseparable in their creation and how they went on to create the rest of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Then he made the second radio play, which I also love. Then Life, the Universe, and Everything. Then So Long and Thanks for All the Fish. Then he was kind of forced by contract to write Mostly Harmless, and he specifically wrote it to stop writing those books. The last 3 in the trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, no, sorry, 3, 4, and 5, I also love. I would say that So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, because of its redemptive story for everyone, really, is one of my all-time favorite books of the series. Like, I love Hitchhikers, but I might love So Long and Thanks for All the Fish more. It changes on any given day. I do know that my least favorite book is Mostly Harmless, and then my second least favorite book is Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Hitchhikers, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, and Life, the Universe, and Everything, oh, they're all just so good. So the BBC miniseries, perfect. It had to be perfect. It was created by him at the time that he was writing the books. It's amazing. It has wonderful special effects. It has so many wonderful practical special effects. Puppetry and costume, and it does this amazing thing with like long shots that are painted on glass. It's brilliant in its depiction of computers and how computer type is animated onto the screen. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing cast. No better cast than that. So that's the good. And then the bad is that terrible movie that they made in the 2000s with Sam Rockwell, who I adore. Mos Def did a perfectly good version. Well, a perfectly good version of Ford Prefect for what it was. Sam Rockwell did a terrible Zaphod Beeblebrox. Zooey Deschanel is a bad actress, so she didn't make a very good Trillian. Martin Freeman as Arthur could have been fine. And they did so many wonderful fan service things in that movie. Like, there's the original Marvin in that movie. I mean, yeah, Marvin was not good in that movie, but I do love Alan Rickman. And Alan Rickman did a decent Marvin. But like overall, the things that they changed were so bad. And the storyline was so bad. And the love story triangle was so bad. Like, there was just so many things that went wrong. And Zaphod Beeblebrox's depiction is really abhorrent. It's really terrible. Shoehorning in popular culture of the time that the movie was made was a terrible idea. I don't know. So it's so sad because I would love to see that movie made, even with that cast, but made more true to Douglas Adams and more true to the original Hitchhikers. But it won't happen. So those are good and bad. And then the last prompt, the 9th prompt, is to tag people. This tag is really old. I'm not going to tag anyone, but if you love The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or you think that these questions are interesting, please feel free to answer some or all of them in the comments below or to make a video on your own. That is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy H2G2 tag. I had so much fun doing it. I've been thinking about it for months. I love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy questions, I would love to hear them. That was also my birthday video. It's not going to come out on my birthday, obviously, because I'm filming it after my birthday, but I hope it will come out soon after. And tell me why I always feel the need to make a birthday video. I don't know. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!